Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day so far. I know I'm currently trying to do more Christmassy Vlogmas related videos and none of them really have been and this one definitely isn't. I asked a while ago on Instagram if anyone had a spooky encounter, a ghost story, anything that they have experienced that they would like me to share or that they wanted to share with me and I can share with you guys. The response was quite crazy. I got quite a lot of people messaging me, quite a lot of people sent me over their scary stories. So first of all, if you are one of the people that did send me over your kind of spooky encounters, thank you so much. I know some of these are quite personal, so it means so much to me that you actually sent me them and have given me permission to read these. This was quite a while ago now. I've been quite busy, so I'm sorry it's took me so long to actually get this out. I haven't read any of these. I think there is one that I have read, but that was because it was sent kind of after. So this is finally what was supposed to have been part 1 to my spooky encounters series. This is now part 2. So if you are a skeptic, this probably isn't the video for you. I'm sorry I'm going to be looking down quite a lot. I am dyslexic and reading while trying to stare at you guys is just not something I'm capable of. This is actually, the first one is from the babe from the Littlest Spook Shop, so I'll leave her shop link down below if you want to go and check her out. And she replied saying, "It's not much of a story, but when I was 11 my dad passed away. The night he passed, I was in bed falling asleep and I felt my bed move as if someone had sat down. Ooh. I opened my eyes and saw him sat at the end of the bed smiling at me. Oh my god." And with a blink he was gone after. My father-in-law said he had a very similar experience with his own dad. A year later, on the anniversary of my dad's death, I had a dream that I saw him, almost skeletal. Oh my god. He gave me a massive hug, so tight I could feel his ribs sticking into mine, and I woke up gasping for air in pain. I'm not sure if that last part counts or whether it was psychological. Bloody hell. First of all, I'm so sorry that you lost your dad, especially at quite a young age. That is crazy. I know that a lot of people say that when a loved one passes, they experience something. It's kind of a way that that person is telling you that they're okay. That's crazy, especially a year later to have a very similar thing happen. Ugh, that's made me like kind of emotional, but kind of like, ugh. I'm gonna move on to the next one. So this is from Spooky Girls Beauty School, and she has sent me also another story which I have actually read, but this one I haven't read. So she said, "My best friend died 5 years ago and I got a tattoo in memory of him." Oh, that's so sweet. "I woke up to the pain on the tattoo, like a fresh tattoo pain, yet the tat was 5 years old too." Wow. Also see shadow people a lot. I hear furniture moving downstairs on its own, electricals turning on and off on their own, and smell things that remind me of my nan, like her favourite perfumes or whiskies. That reminds me of my granddad. I hear their voices a lot, so clear as if they're next to me and still alive. It's all so crazy. I've always experienced paranormal stuff like shadow people and spirits, etc. Bloody hell. That's intense. Again, I'm so sorry for your loss as well, and getting a tattoo in memory of your friend, like that's... I appreciate that. How bizarre, having pain in that tattoo though, because as soon as they're healed, unless obviously you get like an infection or whatever, but 5 years is a long time, so you wouldn't be experiencing anything like that, so that's crazy. But smelling things that remind you of a certain person, I've heard a lot of that, and that is, again, something I feel like I've experienced. That's madness. Again, I think smelling stuff like that, or smelling something that reminds you of someone, I think again that's kind of a good thing. I wouldn't exactly say it was like a bad omen or anything. I think it's just a nice reminder. So if it was supernatural or spirits or ghosts, I think it's a nice experience, if that makes sense. Like, it's no bad juju. So this is from the lovely girl from Home of Schools on Instagram. This is quite a long one, so bear with me. "I'm constantly being told by random people that they've seen me as a ghost wearing a black cloak." What the hell? Oh my god. But my mum saw her shortly after she died. Sorry, I think that's supposed to say, but my mum saw her mum shortly after she died. She thought she heard the dog tapping at the door, so she got up and it was her mum who immediately said, "If you look at my face, I have to go." God. Obviously my mum looked and that's when she went. We lived in quite an old spooky house. Both me and my sisters had felt almost rushed into our house before. We felt something or someone rush up behind us, which has made us run and slam the door behind us, both on different occasions. Sorry, I know it's hard to understand sometimes when things are typed out and then me reading them, so if I'm not making sense, I'm so sorry. And it says, so many things have happened. Not that long ago, when I first started meeting my boyfriend, who used to live an hour away, I've now moved down here and we own our house. But when I would meet him on a weekend, I would end up driving home really late. I would have to go down country lanes, and this one time I could see, right, I live in a dark ass country lane. This is gonna scare me, isn't it? I would have to go down country lanes, and this one time I could see something or someone on the grass verge ahead. Oh God, that scares me so much. As I got closer, it was a woman in a Victorian dress with a hat, and she was holding a briefcase. In that situation, I genuinely don't know what I'd do. I'd be like, that's so scary. And that's like it, that's the end of the story, I'm guessing, because I don't have another print screen. I want to know what you did. What did you do? Did she disappear? Did she run at you and kill you? Well, obviously not, because she sent me the story. Oh, that's horrible. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but that'd scare the life out of me. So this one is from Suck My Pixel. This is quite a short one. It just says, well, mine's not really my story, but my mum's. She didn't let me go to see my grandpa at an open casket funeral. See, I don't know if we do open casket funerals in the UK, or I know I've never been to one, and that must be so hard. I don't know if that's going to give you closure, or if that must be really, really hard to see a relative. She didn't let me go to see my grandpa at an open casket funeral, and says to this day he didn't forgive her and came to visit after. Oh wow. She said she feels like she's being watched, she hears weird knocks, and at worst she feels someone blowing right in her ear. Oh, she was 10 or something back then. Oh no. I don't know if grandpa is mum's dad or dad's dad, but I'm guessing mum's dad, so she obviously hasn't let her go to the funeral, and he seems to be angry about that. Give me chills. This is another slightly longer one. This is from, I'm so sorry if I butcher this, but it seems to be Lady Trekkie 42, and it says, oh, there's so many people who have lost people, it's making me so sad. So again, I'm so sorry for your loss. My aunt died right before I was born, so I never met her, but I heard so many stories, and her photo is everywhere in my mum's house. People tell me all the time that I look like her, so I have a weird connection to her. Anyway, when I was a kid, maybe about 10 or 11, I was in the kitchen making a sambo. I don't know what a sambo is. I don't know if that's a sandwich, but it's a cool word. I was making a sambo for my brother. He wasn't feeling well at all. When I turned around to grab a knife, I noticed a woman in a floor-length pale blue, almost white gown with long sleeves walking past me. I'm a very sensitive soul and very open to spirits and an empath, so I wasn't freaked. Oh, that's good. I feel like I would. I would be scared. So I wasn't freaked, and something told me it was okay. That's nice. That's like a calming feeling, so I'm glad that it wasn't a scary experience for you. So I just carried it about my sandwich making business. Problem solved. So sambo means sandwich. When I turned to walk down the hall to the front room to where my brother was sitting, the same woman walked into the room. This is giving me so much chills. I told my mum about it later, and she told me that sounded like the exact same sleeping dress my aunt would sleep in all the time. I've got so many goosebumps right now. So good though, the fact that you didn't feel scared and it could have been your aunt, like that's amazing. Okay, we've got more. Another time it happened to my mum. She used to get terrible migraines when I was a kid. They'd last maybe 2 days and she'd be getting sick. We weren't even allowed into her room because any movement was held to her. If you've had migraines in the past, you can relate. We lived with my grandparents, by the way. One particular bad one, she asked everyone to leave her alone, even my nan and granddad. She seemed to recover way quicker than usual from this one, and the next day she came to breakfast asking who had gone in and sat on the bed. We told her no one and that we all left her alone, but she said no, someone definitely sat at the end of the bed and touched her forehead. She said the hand was so lovely and cold and the coolness helped her fall asleep. It was definitely my auntie. No one went into the room that night. It's a comfort to know she's looking out for everyone. That's so scary. Well, no, it's not scary. It's crazy to think that these things can happen or that people have experienced these things. Ooh. At the same time, that's quite a humbling thing. Like, you've got a spirit there who is looking after you, someone who's a family member who clearly cares for you also. I'm glad that you shared that with me, because even though it's giving me really bad chills, That's a really nice experience. Next one, this is from Georgina Faye. She says that she's had quite a few experiences, to be honest, but she's going to share a short one. So it says, when I was small, like 3 or 4, I used to have a den under my parents' stairs. Oh, that's cool. And I used to be heard talking to / playing with someone all the time. When my parents asked who I was talking to, I would just say my friend. See, younger children and babies are known to be a lot more, it's not susceptible, what's the word? They're supposed to be able to like see spirits, contact spirits and communicate with them a lot easier because they're a lot more naive. So she would just say it was a friend. A while later, my mum showed me a photo of my great nan, and I apparently got very giddy and told my mum, that's my friend. No way. My great gran passed away a few years before I was born, and I had never seen a photo of her before. So I've heard similar stories like this in the past, but that's crazy. But again, that's so nice that you had an experience with your gran because you hadn't even known her before, but you'd actually managed to experience being a friend with her. Was like, oh, I like that. I think that's quite sweet. Oh, my girl Chantel, so Chantel Louise, she said, oh, I didn't know this. You lived in Australia. Ooh. When I was 7 to 8 years old, we lived in Australia, but came over to the UK to visit family. On our annual holiday over to the UK, we went to visit a family friend. One of those that's the auntie-uncle by association kind of thing, lol. But anyways, they had 2 daughters. One who was the same age as me and another who was like 15, 16. Parents were all in the kitchen, gas bagging. I've never heard that before. Gas bagging. I like that. Gas bagging over a cuppa and just proper in depth with their convo. So the older sister had taken the dog for a walk. Across the road from their house was an eerie as hell cemetery. So a cemetery was where the older sister would walk through to the other side and then come back. On her way back, we were watching her through the front room bay window, and the sister was always on strict instructions to not talk to anyone. Just walk the dog from one end to the other and come back. We were watching her and she stopped for a good 10 to 15 minutes to talk to this person. I couldn't really see much other than the sister in her bright pink and yellow puffer coat, and this person was wearing what looked like a long top and tail kind of suit. Fast forward to the conversation ending, she ran as fast as she freaking could from the middle to the end, which came out across from their house. She looked deathly white, ill as f. She came in and just sat in the chair, shaking, nearly on the verge of tears. Me and her sister, being young and curious, we were like, ooh, you're in trouble for talking to someone, like winding her, like, nah, gonna tell mum kind of thing. She looked at us and said she didn't see a single soul in the cemetery, not one at all. But she got to a certain point and felt like someone or something didn't want her to move any further. So when she was talking to this figure, oh, you could tell by the look on her face that she wasn't making it up. She had a thing for trying to scare us and make us jump and stuff, but she legit looked petrified. While they thought she was stood talking to someone, she was just stood dead in the tracks, and she wasn't actually talking to anyone. There was no one there, but the girls saw a figure stopping her in her tracks. What the hell? We told her about seeing her with a figure but couldn't make out who it was, and the fact she stood there for like 15 minutes talking to him / her, we just thought it was someone she knew. Oh, that's so weird. The shriek she did was blood curdling because she was adamant no one at all was in there with her. After she calmed down and stuff, parents came into the front room and we told them about it, and apparently there were pretty gruesome murders in that cemetery of people coming to mourn their loved ones. But as my mum and auntie would call it, a dapper man, meaning suited and booted, crisp and clean. Oh, Jesus. Wait, so he's the murderer? So yeah, we fully think we saw him. When we came again the following year, the dog walk route had changed and apparently she hadn't stepped foot in it again. I don't blame her. It was a shortcut into the local high street, cutting like 30 to 40 minutes off going all the way around the cemetery. She'd rather add that nearly extra hour to her journey because she was legit that scared. I don't blame her, that's so weird. If it's literally caused her to go that much of a detour to take the dog for a walk, then I believe that something freaked her out that much. Oh. And again, with Chantel and her, was it a cousin, I believe she said? Like, family members were younger. Again, they were able to potentially see that thing, but because she was older, she wasn't. Next one is from Andy_G136. It says, this experience was from my mum. My uncle had passed away right before I turned 5 years old, and he had already been gone for a month since he passed, and my mum was watching a show that he liked. My mum was crying a lot because she missed him. It was over, so she turned off the TV along with the lights, and she kept crying, and she suddenly felt the bed go down by the feet area as if someone had sat down, and she got scared and stopped crying. Again, like, it must be such a common thing. The next one I'm going to read out is actually one I have already read. This is from Spooky Ghouls Beauty School again. So I've just read one of her stories out, but after I posted my first Spooky Encounters video, she messaged me this, and this freaked me out quite a bit. The weirdest thing happened to me. I'm watching one of your old videos, which made me think to tell you because I watched your Spooky Encounter videos. All of the windows in the house are shut as it's freezing, and out of nowhere my mug randomly just fell off my windowsill and smashed. Mugs are not light, they're quite heavy. Like, they need a good shove to be able to get off a flat surface. While I was cleaning it up and taking the glass in the bin downstairs, I heard a thud. I went upstairs, shitting myself to be honest, as I'm home alone, and one of my wet specimen, and then she does actually put, I'm sorry if this offends you, because I know some people aren't a fan of it, it's somehow fallen off her shelf and smashed. The rat specimen, it wasn't damaged or anything, so she's put it in another spare jar she's got with alcohol and stuff, but she's so spooked as to how it came off the shelf. It was halfway across the room as well. And then she put as if it had been yeeted. I'm scared to be in my room, I'm not gonna lie. It's so weird. So she's cleaning up a mug that has just gone randomly falling off her windowsill, I think she said, for no reason. And as she's downstairs cleaning up, something else goes flying across the room. Especially like wet specimen can be quite weighted, like they're not light either, and if there's no breeze, no nothing in the house, like how is it possible? I do understand sometimes if something's resting a bit funny, all it can take is like the earth to slightly move and something go down, but yeah, that's a weird thing to happen.
I'm sorry if my YouTube videos caused that.
So that was actually everything for today. I will be reading out some more in the future, but I just want to say, especially to all those people who sent me those stories and their experiences, like, thank you so much. I understand like sometimes talking about past relatives can be quite hard, so thank you so much for sharing those stories. I really appreciate it. If you have your own scary story, spooky encounter, anything like that, feel free to message me on Instagram. It's at megangraceinfo, and I would love it to read your story out in the next video. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. Please give it a massive thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and subscribe if you are not. I'll leave all my social media linked down below as well, so feel free to head on over there and give me a shout. Also send me your stories if you have one you want me to read. I would love to. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!